to the Super Speedway.
Welcome to episode 231 of the Super Speedway podcast, recorded Tuesday, April 12th, 2022. I'm your host, Eric Young, and I am joined, as always, by my co-host, James Cush. James, we had a fight. We got our fight.
We finally got a fight. Yes.
So
Only it was
excited.
on the wrong night.
Yeah, I'm all right. I'll take a fight any night of the week.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I mean,
yes.
I knew it wasn't going to happen when Haley was arguing after the truck race. I figured nobody's going to take a swing at Haley.
Yeah.
But
well, a certain someone had it coming, and then he thought he was wronged, and then when you get that combination, that's a nice little mix.
Yeah.
For a you know what storm, and that's what we got.
Well, thank God it happened, because it gave us something to talk about this week.
Yes. Yeah. I'm texting people. Oh, I love Martinsville. You're gonna love Martinsville. Yeah. And the new car.
So we've been praising this new car, James, but I don't know. Maybe we shouldn't tear up California or tear down Chicagoland yet. Maybe we want 1.5 miles still.
We fixed the 1.5 mile problem, and we broke our short tracks. It looks like.
I mean, at least we have one less short track now that Bristol's dirt first half of the year.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I mean, we're gonna get if you're coming for the wrecks, just wait. You've got it coming on Easter Sunday. Yeah, I don't even know, Eric. I honestly don't even know what to say about this race other than I'm glad it was 100 laps short, and it still felt long. But I guess where we should start with it is William Byron drove a heck of a restart.
Yeah.
To win the thing.
I mean, that's the only part of the race we care about, right? The green, white checker.
Yeah. I mean, he was set to dominate the whole dang thing. And that caution came out with 7 to go. Yeah. And I was like, oh, that poor kid just got screwed.
Well, let's do this.
No.
4 leaders on the day.
Oh.
4 total leaders. William Byron led 212 laps. Chase Elliott led 185. Ryan Blaney 5. Austin Dillon 1. There you go. You just heard the whole race. Then there was a caution with 7 laps to go, and we had a green white checker.
Yep, 400 laps plus overtime, and there you go. 403 is your total.
Joey Logano did his best bump and run attempt, but with the new car that races like one of the Whelen Modifieds, you can't move those suckers, and he failed, and William Byron won the race.
Yep, it was a great restart. Austin Dillon he kind of blew it, I guess, a little bit, but I don't know, Eric. I mean, most of the first half of the race obviously was all Chase Elliott, but William Byron's car just kept getting better all race long. Yeah, and there was, even if anybody had come down to get fresh tires behind him, I don't even know if that would have mattered, honestly. No. Like, there was no rubber down.
You could not pass.
No.
I mean, 4 leaders, that tells you couldn't pass.
Yep.
5 lead changes among 4 drivers. I mean,
you couldn't, track position was vital. Like, you just couldn't, if you didn't have it, you couldn't do anything with it. And then
who was it that they were talking about on the TV broadcast? Was it Bubba that Byron caught or Chase caught and they couldn't pass early in the race, and they sat on the tail end of the lead lap for the entire segment? That just shows you. I mean, you had a car that was almost going down a lap and they couldn't pass.
And think about how bad Denny Hamlin was all race long, and he was able to battle in the first stage to keep his lap.
He had some great things to say after the race.
Yeah, honestly, he had some really good insight too. Saying things like, we need to start working on this problem for next year right now. Yeah. Which I totally agree with. I mean, we've got to start thinking ahead here about something. Get some engineers in a room or whatever. I don't know, but we cannot have a poor product, especially when our season ends with Martinsville and Phoenix. Right. And we have the 2 worst races I think we've had probably so far. Is those 2 well, Richmond's in there, but
this might have been worse than Richmond, James.
This was worse. No,
at least Richmond had a natural finish and had passing.
Yeah, and Eric, you know how much I hate the "was it a good race" conversation, because I feel like we don't do that in other sports. Like, right? Was that a good football game? maybe with the Super Bowl, that might be the only. But I just, when the product is not up to the standards of NASCAR racing, I just feel like we've let the fans down, who pay good money to watch these races in person and want to watch them on TV, and you make a nice Saturday night out of it, and it's kind of fun to have a race on a Saturday night.
Or you do like me and you start watching at 10:30 at night and watch every lap thinking something's got to happen in this thing.
Yeah, no, nothing. I watched every lap live and nothing happened. But yeah, I will say though, the late restart did add some action.
Yeah, things picked up a little bit in the final stage, but just not enough. I mean,
yeah, it wasn't enough. And if we didn't have that final caution, there wouldn't have been.
No, it would
right home. Boat.
No, exactly. We'd already be done talking about it and moved on. I mean, I'm surprised we got this much out of it. One argument I would give you for the why was it a good race is a good conversation for NASCAR versus football, for example, is that there are a lot of football games to choose from on a weekend. Yeah. So you can find a good football game. You're always going to find a good football game. But there's only one of these, and if you don't have a good one, nobody's watching. So
the NFL used to strategically stick their stinkers on Thursday nights. Right. But now they're getting so much money they're not able to do that with Amazon anymore. Yeah. So you get your what you used to do is you would hide the Bills and Titans on Thursday, but now the Bills have a quarterback. So things are cycling around a little bit.
Is that why the Bears played so much on Thursday nights? That must be.
I mean, I still don't understand why the Lions get Monday Night Football games. I grew up with no Monday Night Football games.
Right.
So, and that's how if this conversation goes to show you how this race went, we're talking football. So.
Exactly.
In April.
Right. After Martinsville, like usually, I mean, I will say one thing. This Martinsville race is not the good one. It's never been the good one. We've actually, if I remember correctly, last year, this was the snow delay, wasn't it? Last year? Was it last year too?
We had a snow delay this year too. Yeah.
So this race historically has not been good, or not been as good, but usually you get some action, and there was none in this thing. I mean, it was awful.
Well, if there's any correlation between the old car and the new car, the old car didn't like cold night races either.
Yeah, that's true.
It didn't like night races in general. The old car hated night races. This new car definitely hates the cold and the new tire. I mean, gosh, Eric, we didn't see hardly. I guess most of the season so far we've seen tire fall off.
Yeah,
but. And it's a combination, I think, of a lot of different things, but the tire not laying down on the track and giving us a little bit of a slickness was definitely a factor here too.
Yeah, it's something Goodyear's going to have to speed up. Goodyear's going to have to figure that out, whether that was because of the cold temperatures or because of the tire compound.
Yeah, exactly. And we need slow corner speeds at Martinsville, because if you're able to hold up your speed, I mean, that last restart, I mean, that's a great symbol for the entire race when you're looking at that last restart, and we are all, I mean, 90% of NASCAR fans are thinking, oh, bump and run, here it comes. Mm-hmm. And the speed,
especially with Joey Logano starting on the inside of the second row,
and Austin Dillon hungry, but even when Byron makes a little bit of a mistake, he was still going so fast, he was able to gather it back up and get back into the gas and hold him off. So yeah, we've definitely got I don't know, it was
you had a better tire. We know the brakes are better, a lot more speed in the corners, and they were shifting. And there was talk about that on Door Bumper Clear, that part of the issue is the shifting, because NASCAR developed the gear packages before they planned to go to this horsepower. So when they upped the horsepower, it messed up the gear ratios. And a lot of these guys, they were shifting. They weren't even running fifth gear at all. They were running first through
3 and 4. Yep. A lot of guys were running 3 and 4.
And when you can just downshift and run off the corner when you screw up, I mean, you're never going to lose a position. And that's what we saw.
Right.
So, I mean, NASCAR needs to fix the gear ratios, need to make this tire slide a little bit on these tracks. And I don't know, fall off would be good, I think. But fall off's not the only thing, because Richmond sucked too.
Exactly. It was cool. I will say, trying to find some of the bright line, silver lining on some of this race. It was cool to see the drivers have to work that shifter around the track.
Yeah.
I found it neat how each driver was taking a different approach to it as well. Notably Kurt Busch would delay his shift into the corner,
yeah,
and get the car way into the corner and get it turning into the next corner, and then he would shift, which was kind of cool to watch. And some guys were shifting right away to get the car woed up, so that was a neat thing. Again, it's a very minor thing when you're talking about this race.
I don't know why I care, James, because it doesn't affect me at all. But I don't like to see him shift. I don't know why. I have no idea why that bothers me.
I thought it was great when Chase Briscoe won at Phoenix and was working that bad boy. I think it's cool. I don't know. It's makes him work a little bit, which is good.
Maybe it's me being the driver or thinking of it as a driver that I wouldn't want to have to deal with shifting.
Well, yeah. I mean, think about how an F1 car goes into a corner versus a NASCAR Cup car. They're downshifting from 8 to 2, right? So there's a lot of shifting going on when you're thinking F1. So yeah, I'm okay with these guys having to work at it a little bit.
Some things worth mentioning in this race. There's not a whole lot. Ross Chastain, 5th place finish. Kurt Busch, 6th place. Good run for 23:11. Eric Almirola got an 8th place finish. Yeah, that's about it. Denny Hamlin was terrible. You mentioned that.
Yeah, Denny was really bad. I mean, we could talk a little bit more about William Byron.
Yeah.
The most laps he's led in his career now. Yeah. Already this season.
Right. Yeah, he led more laps in this race than he had his whole career.
Yep. Man, I'm telling you. I was nervous for him because I want him to succeed. Obviously, yeah. I've talked highly about William, and I think a lot of people do. But he's it was cool to see him kind of drop the hammer on these guys a little bit, which was nice to see him actually dominate the race a little bit.
Is this it? I mean, is he here now? It's William Byron's time, or are we? Yeah. Do we still run the risk of him regressing again?
I mean, he's right there. He's right.
It feels like it, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, he's outperforming 2 Cup champions on his own team. Right. So I mean, that's a lot to be said. I mean, Chase Elliott looked like he was going to dominate this thing, and it's looking like the emergence has finally come. I mean, he won the truck race. We'll talk about that a little bit too.
Yeah.
But he is just finally. I'm feeling more confident now, seeing how he's performing. So it's good to see.
It's his 4th Cup victory in 152 races. 2nd victory and 4th top 10 in 2022. Chase Elliott leading our point standings, 3 points over Ryan Blaney. Austin Cindric was our highest finishing rookie in this one with an 11th place finish.
Nice.
Anything else with the Cup race? I mean, I think
we're good.
feel like we're jumping out of here pretty quick, but there's no point in stretching it out, right?
No, we're good, man.
Should we get to the one we want to talk about?
Let's talk about the big one, and then we'll hit the trucks, and we're off. Let's go.
So, first of all, some old washed up has-been raced in this race too, and struggled a lot. Dale Earnhardt Jr. early in this thing, real tight race car, managed to get spun out by his teammate, and then the seas parted when they decided to wreck 3/4 of the field going into turn 1. And Junior ends up with an 11th place finish, 1 spot out of a top 10 for Dale.
Did you hear? So I know you probably. I mean, you checked the audio and stuff after the race. Did you hear him and TJ talking through that crash?
Junior was on Dorm Upper Clear this week, and I listened to it today, and it was great. And yeah, they played this clip. Yeah, it's good stuff.
It was good. It's so much fun. I don't know how long Junior is gonna continue to do this.
At least one more year.
Yeah, so I'm here for him running once every year until he's 70 years old at this point. Just keep doing it.
He said it's been a pretty big eye-opening experience for him because he expected to come out here and be able to compete with these guys, and he said it's tough. He said it takes 40 laps for him to get to where he's comfortable.
The slippage is obviously going to be, he's performed well, especially those first couple of years. He performed pretty well. But yeah, he's going to start to see the regression. I mean, these guys are out there every single week, and he's running once a year. So there's definitely, plus, he's the old guy out there with all these young bucks. Right. So that was, and he actually, like you said, got himself into one accident, got through another one, left with some tire marks on the doors. Didn't get anybody mad at him this year. So those were some good things. So, yeah, but yeah, it's cool to see. And I did pick him in our picks this week, Eric, and I did outscore you. So yeah. I'll take it.
I don't even want to talk about our picks. It's just going right down the tube for me. It's ridiculous. Just bad this year. Nobody wants me to pick them because they're going to do bad.
That's fine. Yeah, you keep picking first every week too.
The only way I gain points on you is when your driver sucks too.
Yeah. Well, it's a long way. We got a long way to go. There's a long season ahead.
We probably should mention that Brandon Jones was able to sneak in and get a win at the end. Did lead 28 laps on the day, but sneaks in at the end, takes the checkered flag. Because we're not going to talk about Brandon Jones a whole heck of a lot here in a second.
Yeah, we're going to talk about his teammate.
Yeah. So good for Brandon to get that win. This is first of the year, right?
Win. Yeah, first of the year, 5th career win. Brandon Jones is an interesting case study for me. Like, yeah. I don't know what he is, but he's definitely. I mean, he's winning at Martinsville. He hasn't been in a Final Four yet, but he wins on all sorts of different tracks.
You know what I feel like Brandon Jones is Brandon Jones is Ryan Preece if Preece would have stayed in the Xfinity series.
Yeah, I think he's that. Maybe not even maybe Cole Custer. That might be an insult to Cole Custer. Maybe he's in that. I guess he's in that group.
Is he in like the current Kurt Busch category where you can expect probably a win out of him a year? I mean, I know that's right. I know Kurt, obviously has his past.
You're talking Xfinity series.
Yeah. Maybe like Alex Bowman before last year, kind of, you expect him to be there. He's going to be around, but he's not somebody you expect every week. I mean, he's there. He's always there. He's does a lot of top 10s.
Yeah, I think his big thing is he crashes quite a bit.
Yeah.
That's been his kind of Achilles heel. But when he does finish races, especially with that Joe Gibbs team, since he's been there the last couple of years, usually when he's finishing a race, he's a top 10 driver, bare minimum. He's always up there. I'm looking through some of his career stats. I mean, he's a top 5 guy at like Mid-Ohio, and then he'll go and he'll run top 5 at Texas. He's got good range with the ways that the tracks that he's running on, and all of his wins, like I said, are pretty scattered amongst different. I think he's just an opportunist. Maybe that's the maybe that's the comp.
I mean, you look at
Alex Bowman.
2018 to 2021. We ran 33 races each season, 17, 16, 19, 19. That's his top 10s for the year. He's there. He's in the top 10 almost every week. And like you said, if he's not, he wrecked.
Right.
Right. And I saw that in the truck series too. He was like that in the truck series when he raced there. So, I mean, you can expect to get something out of him. He's going to run well, and just every, couple of races, he's going to sneak through and grab a win. I mean, he didn't win in 2021, so he didn't win last year. He got 3 wins the year before, and one the year before that. So,
yeah, and this was a heck of a track to win on, and honestly, this was the best race of the weekend.
Yeah.
I mean, these cars raced like Xfinity cars at Martinsville,
right?
So that was good. That's why I had high hopes going into to Saturday night. But
right.
I mean, this is a really good win. I won't say what the fans were chanting at him after the race. Right. That really drives me nuts. But I brought it up, so I guess it's my own problem.
Well, and he did manage to battle the best driver in the Xfinity series right now to get the win. Yeah, it looked like he disappointed Grandpa a little bit, but I think Grandpa was a little confused as to what he should be doing at that particular moment. I don't think a lot of people said he was disappointed that Jones won, but I think he just didn't know what to think. Hold on, before we talk about the
I'm
giant,
ready.
Before we talk about the giant elephant, I do want to mention too that Landon Castle got his best Xfinity finish ever.
Second place.
So. And completely was ignored after the race. Yeah. Thanks to Ty Gibbs and Sam Mayer, James.
Specifically Ty Gibbs himself.
Yeah, yes. Old Ty Gibbs roughing people up for weeks on end, and then coming down to what do they get? $100,000 for the
$100,000 bonus.
$100,000 bonus for the Dash for Cash, and Sam Mayer's behind him. And I mean, not to put too fine a point on it, but these two hate each other. And Sam Mayer ran over him and tried to get the money, and Allmendinger ended up getting it instead.
Allmendinger snuck through and got the cash. Good for him.
But Ty Gibbs not too happy about getting raced the way he's raced every single person in the series this year.
He took exception to the way he was raced. We'll put it that way. And threw a big old tantrum on the track.
Threw a tantrum on the track, threw a tantrum coming down pit road, and then decided to take a couple swings.
And started it.
Yeah.
And
yes,
he started it. He started it. He walked his high and mighty Tookus down pit road.
He did.
He started it.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean, it's certainly. I do think, and they talked about this on Don't Rumble Clear. If this was like AJ Allmendinger, he's not doing this. This is because it's Sam Mayer.
Yeah,
they have a history.
Yeah.
But just breaking news today, just before we started recording, Ty Gibbs fined $15,000 as a result, not because of the fight though. The fine was because he made contact with another car in pit road. NASCAR not a big fan of that, especially Martinsville. Man, that pit road is so tight. You don't even run into people walking down pit lane. So,
yep.
Good on them for giving him the fine. The team also got a fine for something else. I don't remember what it was, but
is that the KFB rule? Contact on pit road?
Probably.
The Darlington Kevin Harvick situation.
Yeah, probably. It's necessary. I mean, you use your car as a weapon all you want on the track, but as soon as you come down pit road, you got to knock that crap off. Get out and punch the guy, and well, he did that too.
And so Eric, if we go back and listen to ourselves on this podcast, I guarantee you, I know where we would, or what we would sound like, right? Yeah. Eric last week, hey, we don't mind that Ty Gibbs moved somebody.
Right.
That's how it's got to be, and he's going to get raced that way. You got to be willing to deal with it, right?
Yep.
We've said all of these things, and then 1 week later, boy, honestly, Eric, I might have been alone on the island. I mean, I had real estate on Ty Gibbs Island. I was feeling pretty good about it. I felt, it was kind of lonely, but property value was high. But I sold everything on Ty. I sold it all. Because the way he handled this whole thing really, listen, I love it. Gives us something to talk about. Oh yeah. Right? This is
I've
great.
wanted to fight all year. Got it.
He's mini KFB.
Yeah, he is 100%. He's worse.
KFB. He definitely.
People are going to hate him more than Kyle.
And it's because he's got that last name.
Yep.
And they assume that it's all handed to him, which
this is nothing against his ability. The kid has a ton of ability.
He's just a hothead.
Yeah.
And a goof. He's a goofball.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
and he's a coward for fighting the way he did.
And he's a hypocrite.
He is a hypocrite. Yes.
If you're going to go and move a bunch of people out of the way and expect them to take it, which, I mean, to be fair, he didn't necessarily expect them to take it. When he did it to Nemechek, he said, "I got one coming." Yeah. So, I mean, he's expecting it, but then you can't throw a temper tantrum afterwards.
And and start something, and then I know Twitter threw a fit about him having his helmet on. Whatever. It's a cowardly thing to go over there and start that whole thing. But he did get in a nice 2-piece with a couple of punches on.
Yeah, Sam Mayer. Sam Mayer had a nice black eye after that one.
Yeah. So he can scrap a little bit. I'd like to see him in a fair fight.
Did you listen to DBC this week?
I haven't listened to it. No.
Junior was talking about, he was making fun of Noah when Noah got hit in his fight with Harrison Burton, and
that was good,
Noah took 2 swings and missed, and Ty connected. And I guess what happened is Ty got into it last year and with somebody, or a couple years ago with somebody, and got his butt kicked. And they decided they were going to get him some MMA lessons so he knows how to take care of himself. And that Toyota foot the bill to get him some MMA lessons, and
he threw a good 2-piece.
Yeah,
that was a nice.
That's what Junior said. Man, he said the budget's so tight with these Xfinity cars. Man, now he's got to go and get Sam Mayer some training. He can't afford that.
If they're going to be fighting all year, for sure. But Eric, how do you think? So we know Joe Gibbs from being in this sport for it's over 30 years, right?
Yeah.
How do you think that meeting, because they sat him and Grandpa sat down in the hauler after that, how do you think that conversation went with the leader of men, Joe Gibbs, big Christian, great guy by all accounts, one of the great men in the history of football and racing? How do you think that conversation went?
Considering he never fired Tony Stewart or Kyle Busch,
yes,
he has to be pretty willing to accept faults.
I wonder about the difference between the Gibbs name on your patch on your fire suit versus the birth certificate. Because
like I said, if they went and got him fight training, then maybe they're all right with this.
But Joe can't be.
He looked embarrassed.
He can't. Yeah, he cannot be happy that his name. It's different because you're right. He has put up with a lot of stuff, but he's put up with really talented guys who have done the same kind of crap. But this is his flesh and blood. So I just can't imagine that he's very happy.
Yeah.
With this whole thing.
That's
his little grandson.
I probably would be willing to bet that Joe was much less excited about the destroying a good race car around the track on the cool down lap than he was with the scuffle afterwards.
Yes, making those guys have to work on that race car.
Yeah, yep. I mean that car was in good shape, and he beat the living crap out of it. I mean, he ruined a race car.
Yep, he definitely tore the sheet metal off that dang thing.
Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, I think Joe's got to know what he's got here. I mean, and in the end, if you're bringing home the trophies and the paychecks, I guess who cares, right?
Yeah.
He's sponsored by Monster. Monster probably loves this.
Oh, they love it. Yeah.
I mean, this is all right with them. So,
Eric, I don't know. You're a father of twin boys. Who play hockey and all sorts of other things. If they get into a scrap, what's the conversation like for you?
I mean, as long as they're not doing something stupid. I mean, for me, I guess it's you should be defending yourself, and he wasn't defending himself. He was the aggressor in this.
He was starting something, yeah.
I mean, I'm sure in his mind he thought that he was defending himself when Sam Mayer kind of wrecked him coming to the line, but I didn't think. I mean, I would expect Sam Mayer to do what he did. I don't think it has anything to do with Ty Gibbs. He's going for $100,000. That's a lot of money.
Yeah, and especially in the Xfinity series. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Listen, there's a lot of things I loved about it. I saw national media get on it a little bit, and I think it's that Gibbs name, that helps that a little bit.
James, you know me, if we could have one of these every week, I'd be good with it. We
want to make sure there are special occasions.
I don't even care if they're special. I want to fight every week. give me one fight each weekend. I want it. Right. We can make hockey rules. You got to throw your gloves off or take your helmet off. I don't care. Let's make it. They got to do it in the grass in the tri-oval, whatever.
Yep.
I mean, shoot, I'll take a Spencer Gallagher fight. Spencer Gallagher and what's his face.
Oh, we had some good ones with. Remember Suarez and McDowell?
Yeah, that was a good one.
And Suarez, he's definitely not as big as McDowell. McDowell's one of the bigger guys in the whole series, and he took him down pretty quick. So
a lot of times he's coming waves too. So I'm hoping maybe Bristol this weekend, somebody will get upset with somebody.
Yeah,
and we were close last year at Bristol.
Oh, the big what if fight is always going to be Harvick and Chase.
I know.
Because man, Harvick coming out of that car, if they would have been a little bit closer to each other. Oh,
no,
man, missed opportunity.
I mean, in the end, the only issue I have is that if you're Ty Gibbs, you can't be a hypocrite and think you were wronged because somebody wrecked you when you've been wrecking people all year. Literally the last half a season. If you go back last year. He's run people like crap, and that's fine. He's collecting trophies. Good for him. But you didn't see Dale Earnhardt, whining when somebody spun him out. Well, he did. But either way, you got to take it if you're going to do it.
Right.
And we knew he wasn't going to be able to. I mean, we all knew. But again,
well, he's young.
He'll learn.
Eric, I mean, he's 19 years old. So,
yep.
I was a dumb idiot when I was 19 too.
Yeah, me too.
All boys from the age of 4 till from birth until 30
maybe if you're lucky
are real idiots. We're all not that. Our gender. We're just not a smart breed.
That's my defense to my wife every time my boys do something stupid. Is like, well, they're
boys.
9 and they're boys, so the deck is stacked against them.
Yeah, got no chance. They were born to fail.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I mean, he's young. I guess the biggest thing is that he hasn't really done himself any favors with increasing his fan base, and this probably won't help any. But I don't know. There'll be plenty of closet fans, just like there's closet KFB fans. So, people are going to cheer for him if he's winning. So, he's not going to be hurting. He's going to be bringing money in. So, $15,000 ain't going to hurt too much.
Yep, absolutely.
Let's see. Anything else with this one?
I don't know.
We had
Rex.
We had a rain delay too.
Yeah, yeah.
A lot of that pile up going into turn 1. That was something.
Yep.
Yeah, this was the Martinsville race. I mean, this is what you expect to see when you go to Martinsville. This was you got everything. You got the crazy finish. You got wrecks during the race. You got people fighting at the end. This is what if we could do this on Saturday night, we'd have been good.
Yep.
I say again, James, we put a lot of money into this new car, but we could have just taken the Xfinity cars and run them and had a pretty darn good series.
Yep. It's almost like we have the new car for the intermediate tracks, so we need the old car back.
Right. I mean, I don't want to sit here and hate on the new car because we've had 2 rough weeks. Because up to this point we were pretty happy with it. So
yeah, and I'm not counting. Listen, spoiler alert for the end of the podcast. I'm not counting whatever happens on Sunday as good or bad. It's a thing that's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's going to happen to us. So looking ahead past this weekend,
it's not going to matter. Again, we'll talk about it, but it doesn't matter what you're going to put on dirt. They're all going to race the same. That the new car will have no effect on this weekend. Whether you like what's going to happen or don't, it will have nothing to do with the car. But yeah, I mean, so far the car's been a win. I think Martinsville's fixable. I don't know if Richmond is because Richmond's been a dud for a while. But Martinsville's fixable and we'll get there. So Modified's put on a good show there. So if we can run good with the Modified with those wide tires, they can make these ones work.
Absolutely. Yep.
With that, a little bit of news this week, not a whole lot. Jimmy Johnson got hurt this weekend, fractured his hand at Long Beach. It was during qualifying, right, or practice?
Yep. It was practice.
Yeah. Had surgery already or having surgery this week?
He just had surgery yesterday.
Okay.
No, today.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I
between yesterday and today, I think it was probably maybe this morning or last night. But yeah,
I saw it on the gram, James.
Yep. Jimmy was waving on the gram with his cast. Then he was iRacing with his splint. So, but it sounds like this won't affect his testing for the Indy 500.
That's cool.
Hopefully, I mean, I know that's the big goal, right? To get to the Indy 500 healthy.
Right.
So, we seen a flash of decent driving out of him at Texas, like on the ovals. Yeah, Jimmy Johnson can maybe win that thing. But yeah, the Long Beach was a really rough go for old Jimmer.
Yeah.
Did you see the onboard camera?
I didn't see any of it. I didn't see the accident. Nothing. I saw no highlights, anything of the entire weekend. So standard practice in IndyCar, and we used to when I guess when Danica came into NASCAR, we really noticed the hands on the arms, right? Hands on the arms, hands on the shoulders, right?
And Jimmy was trying to wheel the car in, as he was going into the tire barrier, and that wheel snapped so fast. I mean, and it was quick. So
one thing you have to remember with these Indy cars is it's basically a big go-kart. There's no power steering in those.
Yeah.
So something hooks those wheels, you get the full strength of whatever hooked those wheels.
Yep, and it definitely cracked his hand. But yeah, he was able to race, and it didn't race well. But road courses and street races for Jimmy haven't been going so well anyway.
Long Beach, like I said, you want to talk about tracks hard to pass? Long Beach is tough.
Oh my God, it's Monaco. It's tough.
I did see that they put a car into the fountain or into the grass. By the fountain.
A car finally went into the flowers.
I've been waiting for that to happen for years.
Yep. So that happened, but we don't talk a whole lot of IndyCar, but when Jimmy's involved, we got to make sure we touch on it. And again, we're on Indy 500 watch with this guy, so we gotta. This is one of our biggest stars. We want to see him do well. Hopefully he will. And but yeah, he's going to be in trouble for probably the Indy Grand Prix. I would imagine that's not going to be easy to wheel around. But he'll going left and going fast, Jimmy can handle that.
Right.
With a busted hand, he'll be all right. He'll be fine.
Yeah. Do that one with his arm tied behind his back, right?
Right.
James, I didn't even click on the link in this one. You can take the next one if you want.
Oh, this is short and sweet. And Earnhardt's going to drive the number 3 car in the Xfinity series. Not Dale. It will be Jeffrey Earnhardt. He is going to he's going to run Talladega.
That's
for
cool.
Richard Childress in the number 3. It's been a minute since I've heard from Jeffrey really in a pretty decent ride. I know he had a run with Gibbs there for a little bit. So we'll see. So for those maybe new to Jeffrey Earnhardt, he is Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s nephew. Yeah. So we're gonna see how this goes. Richard Childress said he's happy to have an Earnhardt back in one of his cars, and thinks that Jeffrey's a talented young driver. I mean, Jeffrey, he's been trying for a while, and kudos to Jeffrey. He's been trying to do it on his own, for the most part. So
yeah,
we'll see if he can get the job done. Talladega's a good shot. That's a good car.
If you're gonna race a car at Talladega, I wouldn't mind being in Childress' car.
Man, if an Earnhardt in a number 3 won at Talladega, that could be huge for his career.
Earnhardt takes the lead in a number 3 at Talladega.
Yeah, that could be. This could be a nice pop for his career if he can do something with it, Eric. This is a great opportunity for Jeffrey Earnhardt. This should be good. Jeffrey, as far as a talent, he's 32. It hasn't happened for him yet, so I don't know if it ever will. But I mean, this is a nice maybe last gasp to get something going. So
yeah,
we'll see what happens.
Cool. Be watching for sure, especially Talladega, man. Gotta love some Talladega.
Oh man, it's coming. It's a week after this dirt thing we're gonna try.
I know. So. I know you're not excited about the dirt. I'm excited about the dirt. Speaking of which, let's talk about it. Bristol Dirt this weekend. NASCAR Truck Series and Cup Series racing this weekend at Bristol. Will be. I guess they've been working on some things with the track and the cars and whatnot. So lots to discuss here, James. A lot of stuff to break down. We've talked a little bit about it already since they've announced that they were running this race this particular weekend. But let's start with, we're racing Easter Sunday in the evening. What are your thoughts on that?
Not a big fan of that.
Yeah,
but
I think it sucks. And I think it sucks even more after listening to DBC, because they pointed out that it's a night race. So these guys are going to all sit there all day long on Easter Sunday at the track and not be with their families and then run a race in the evening. I
know NASCAR is trying to carve out its different piece of the pie any way they can. Racing at the Coliseum the week before the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
This is the NASCAR trying to do what the NBA does on Christmas type of thing.
Well, and I'd even clarify, this race is 100% Fox. This is Fox making the decision to race on Easter Sunday. This is Fox racing the evening of Easter Sunday. This is Fox putting tons of dirt down on Bristol Motor Speedway. Yep. This race is 100% Fox.
Yep.
And that's the start. I mean, that's one thing that Junior talked about on DBC this week, is that start times, everything that we're annoyed with, it's all the networks, because they pay the big money.
He knows.
Yeah. And it was refreshing to hear somebody who works for one of the networks saying it.
Mm-hmm.
But we can bitch about start times all we want, and NASCAR hears us, but they're cashing the checks from Fox and NBC.
NASCAR has a boss. Yeah. NASCAR has bosses.
That's what happens when you take that big TV contract and you depend on it as much as they do for their overall income. So
and I know Dale Jr.'s probably licking his chops to get some of that whatever the next deal looks like, because we're seeing broadcasters get paid like crazy in sports.
Right.
So Dale Jr.'s probably gonna do well.
Yeah, hopefully NBC keeps it. It would really suck if he got the short end of the stick. Somebody
it would.
Junior,
yeah,
though.
Definitely.
Somebody
totally
hire Junior. But I don't know. Easter's pretty sacred to be racing on. I kind of feel like if you're going to do it, race on Saturday night, don't race on Sunday. I realize that other sports play during these holidays, but if you're a Christian, this is like the holiday. This would be worse than racing on Christmas.
Yeah.
But even like Mother's Day, I don't have any problem racing on Father's Day, but I always kind of felt like we shouldn't race on Mother's Day either. Just those traditions I was all right with keeping, the old fashioned side of things. So not a fan of this race on Easter Sunday. That being said, I won't have anything to do in the evening of Easter Sunday, so I'll be happy to turn on the TV
exactly. That's what I was going to say. Like we will get our fill of entertainment,
which means Fox is going to get what they wanted. So
yes, they want to get eyeballs on this thing. Nothing else is on. I don't even think the NBA playoffs are going to be on Easter. I think they're waiting till after. So we're going to have the sports day all to ourselves. The sports evening, I should say. There's no, there might be baseball. I don't even think baseball will go. So this might be oh boy.
Yeah.
NASCAR's racing on dirt. What does this look like?
And then what people are going to get when they tune in to watch it?
A lot of crashes.
Darrell Waltrip in the booth.
Oh, buddy.
DW is back.
I am stoked about DW being back. I don't care. Give me some DW.
Are you really excited?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, it's been a minute.
Wow.
Hey, listen, if we're gonna cartoon this thing up like Fox does from time to time, let's bring him in. Let's go. Let's go. Let's get it going.
Yeah.
I wish.
If you're gonna bring DW in, at least do it at Bristol. But usually you do it when there was pavement down, not dirt.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, not exactly a dirt guy.
DW and Clint might be entertaining together.
God, I'm gonna have to turn the audio off.
It's gonna be bad, yeah. But it will be.
I mean, we've had Michael Waltrip and Darrell Waltrip in the booth together, so it can't be worse than that, right?
Eric, and you don't get the text that I do when people tune into a race and they see Mikey out there with his grid walk, and I have to try to defend my sport all the time. So yeah, listen, we're all in with the Waltrips at Bristol. So it is what it is, buddy. We're gonna get full blown DW. We're gonna get the boogity boogity.
So Stuart Friesen tested a next gen car here. They showed some video of it. Looked like it got along around the track pretty good. So I'm all right. Yep. I'm good with that. They did try no windshield. They tried running a screen instead, and they're not going to do that this time around because they're just not ready to do it. But it sounds like it might be something we could look at in the future, which is maybe a good thing.
Yeah, and you know what else they did that was really good? Remember last year they ran this thing in the day.
Yeah. Right.
And it got dusty and dry.
Right.
So hopefully it'll hold some moisture in the evening. So
well, hopefully they don't get 6 months worth of rain in 24 hours this year too.
That didn't help last year. I wonder how the drainage systems and stuff are handling all this.
I don't know.
Can't be good.
All I know is, we talked about it throughout this. I'm totally fine with running a cup race on dirt. I think it's great. One time a year. But I still wish they'd just do it at Eldora, do it at a real dirt track. Yeah. What'd
you think about Kyle Busch's comments last week?
Well, I can't remember exactly. He basically mimicked Richard Petty, right? He said they shouldn't be racing on dirt.
Yep. He said, yep, we are stepping too far back in time with this.
I disagree with that. And the reason I disagree with that is because I don't know about all over the country, James, but if I travel to an asphalt track in Michigan or a dirt track in Michigan, I can tell you which one's more crowded, and it's not the asphalt one.
That's true. Yep.
So I'm sorry, there's been a resurgence in dirt, Kyle. And where is Kyle racing on Wednesday nights with his kid? Is he racing on asphalt or is he racing on dirt?
He's racing on dirt.
Well, there you go. So if Brexton can race on dirt, if Brexton's the up and coming and he's racing on dirt, maybe Kyle should shut his trap and get in the car and race. Kyle's only doing it because it's Bristol, and Kyle would like 2 chances to win at Bristol, not 1.
This is great because you're disagreeing with Kyle while I am going all in. I agree with Kyle.
No.
Now that being said, you and I agree that we should go to a real dirt track.
Yeah. I mean, I do agree that with this car, we just made a car that is more like a sports car than any other car we've ever had in the Cup Series, and we're going to race it on dirt.
Yeah.
I mean, how many people are driving their Camaros on dirt?
Run a dirt track.
Right.
Like, come on. Like, that's not happening.
Right. IndyCar used to race on dirt, but they're not doing it anymore.
Yeah, that would be another one. There you go.
I mean, I'd be totally fine with no Cup race on dirt too. I mean, I think the truck series deserves to be on dirt, and I think the truck series a couple times a year is fine. I would be even okay with maybe one more on dirt. I don't think it's necessary, but I'd be all right with it.
I'm still salty that we don't go to Eldora anymore. Mm-hmm. It really still bothers me to this day.
Blame that SRX. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Well, nobody's willing to admit it, but I tell you, that's what it is. I guarantee it.
Well, Tony might have lost Eldora, but he's going to get us Nashville. So
yeah,
we'll take 1 win and 1 loss, I guess.
Right.
So that's the SRX series. Yeah, NASCAR wasn't too pleased about.
Yeah. No, I would. I mean, I'd be first in line to go to a Cup race at Eldora.
Yep.
I mean,
oh yeah, we'd be there. We'd be there. Yeah, we'd be there.
No question. I mean, they'd have to upgrade the place, but they're upgrading Gateway this year to run a Cup race there. They upgraded Nashville last year to run a Cup race there. Nashville's going to get upgrades to run a Cup race eventually. We could do it.
Well, maybe if and when this race is a complete flop, NASCAR will call Tony up and say, we're sorry.
Do you consider last year a flop? I can't remember.
It was pretty messy. It was a flop for a couple of reasons, but it was a messy race.
Yeah, I don't think it was NASCAR's fault. I think it was as good as what they could have gotten with what the cards that they were dealt.
And the NASCAR not understanding, I guess,
dirt. If only they had a place that they'd raced on for like 8 years prior with a guy that knows a lot about dirt that they could have ran at for the first one, who could have built them a good track. I don't know.
And remember they had to go single file for the restarts because it was so bad. So it wasn't great. So I hope that this is either the last one or it's so successful that we can't do without it. But I am the former, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like I said, I would rather we don't put dirt down at Bristol, but Bristol gets what they want out of it too. There's a ton of races. They're racing out there all leading up to it, and they'll be racing afterwards.
Yep.
So Bristol gets a lot out of it.
I'll be tuning in to watch. So you got me.
Yep. I'll be there. Well, I won't be there, but I'll be watching. I'd like to be there. There was debate this year. Maybe next year. But I think if I'm going to go to Bristol, I'm going to the night race. I don't think I'm going to this one.
Yeah, go to the real Bristol. That's the other part that really chaps my rear is we lost a real Bristol race. Yeah. I don't care if the spring race didn't have that many fans in it, because by the time we finally fixed the dang place, we put dirt on it and we lost it. So we finally had the place fixed.
Well, we fixed it, but now we got a new car, so who knows what that's going to look like.
Who knows what it's going to? I know. Now we have to wait till August to see it. So
wait till the playoffs.
Man, it bothers me.
With that, we get to make our picks. James, you got me again this week on picks.
Dang right, I did.
35 points up on me this week. So you're 94 total ahead of me. This is just going to crap.
Eric, I had my third triple digits weekend of the season. You have yet to crack.
Yeah.
Past 90.
90 is my top. That's ridiculous.
It wasn't that. What's funny is we are very, very close all the time. So John Hunter, I got one more point there versus Zane Smith, and then Dale Jr. I got 5 more points over Josh Berry, but I kicked your butt in the cup race, and that's not even your fault because Martin Truex Jr. was just terrible.
Yeah.
And you can't expect Martin Truex Jr. to be terrible at Martinsville.
I thought I picked Denny Hamlin, so I probably did better than I thought I was going to do.
Oh, man.
So, anyway, I get first pick again and probably for all of eternity. So, the truck race, Penny's truck race on dirt. James, I'm going with the guy who finished second last year, and I'm going with Ben Rhodes.
Ben Rhodes, it is. Oh, man. I'm going to go with a cautionary pick. Give me Matt Crafton.
Matt Crafton's got a lot of dirt experience. He's got a win at Eldora.
He's got a win at Eldora. I don't think he was very good last year, but I just
last year was an anomaly though. Again,
yeah, he'll be around. Remember? Yeah, Martin Truex Jr. won this race last year. So
yeah, ran away with it.
Yeah, he did. Kicked everybody's butt. We didn't see that one coming.
Food City Dirt Race on Sunday, Easter Sunday in the evening. I'm going to go, he very much disappointed last year because he got caught up, but you can't not pick Kyle Larson on the dirt. So I'm going with Kyle.
Best dirt race car driver in the world.
Yeah. Let's hope he doesn't get caught up in somebody else in Christopher Bell's wreck this year.
Mm-hmm. I am going to take, I've got some points to play with. I'm going to take a little bit of a swing. Give me a guy who shocked us last year and led some laps. Give me Daniel Suarez.
Nice.
Yes.
I debated going with Logano, but I don't think Logano's going to do it again.
Yeah, I mean, like if it was the first time we were running here, you could pick Logano. Like Gateway might be the place to pick Joey.
Right.
Because he always wins the first race.
Yeah.
Daniel Suarez. I mean, Eric, he's been running really well this year. That team's running well this year, and Duke could have won this race last year. So I'll take a mix there. This race is kind of like Talladega to me. Yeah. I don't know. It's kind of a wild card. So
yeah, it's there's just not enough experience on dirt. I mean, even picking a truck race on dirt is tough.
Yeah. If
they
you
do
had
it a
left
couple times
Larson,
a year now.
Right, and if you had left Larson out there, I probably would have taken him.
Yeah.
But I had just a hunch.
I feel like I'd be pretty stupid not to take him. I mean,
you got to take him. Especially
he didn't do you any good last year because I think you picked him last year here.
I did. Oh yeah, I definitely did.
But he's not gonna get wrecked 2 years in a row, right?
I don't know. This is crazy.
Yeah. Fantasy League, James. How'd you actually finished in the top half? So credit to you.
Yeah, I was up there. Finished third.
Yeah.
So Eric, we had dang near the perfect race by Green Eggs and Hamlin. So he gets the win. My buddy Taylor, he had the top 5 points scorers all on his roster. Ridiculous. So he got 1 through 5, and he got every bonus except for 1. So I don't know if that's considered a no-hitter and not a perfect game, because that is as close as I think we've had to a perfect game.
Yeah, that's pretty incredible.
So he had the top 5 scorers and 3 of the 4 bonuses. Pretty cool. He kicked everybody's butt. Tandem Draft Tona was 2nd. I was 3rd. And we go to the overall standings. Oh boy. I'm not going to say where you finished, Eric.
I finished 11th. I'll say it. 11th out of 13. Just a disaster. I did improve 1 position over last week, though. So
yes, you did. With as big of a win as Green Eggs and Hamlin had, he moves up to 2nd in the standings. Fast to the Grass still 1st, 30-point lead there. Justin 713 is 3rd, and Eric, you are 10th, and I am 4th. So we continue to fight the uphill battle. I will stay in 3rd and 4th for the remainder of the season.
Yeah, it's pretty bad that I'm this far back this early in the season. Usually I start the season okay.
Well, you'll win this week.
I don't know.
You'll win this week.
No, I don't know. I just need to forget to pick again, and then I do well.
Well, so I think somebody texted me. I think Eric forgot to do his picks, and I said no, that's not possible. If he had forgotten his picks, he'd be in 2nd or 1st. So.
Right? No, it was just a freaking crappy
Listen,
week.
You're showing your displeasure for fantasy and our picks this year.
Yeah,
as much as anybody.
It's just a disaster all across the board.
Hey,
it's this new car, man. I can't pick with this new car.
Well, if you keep doing bad enough, at least you don't have to worry about it. I keep stressing out about the stinking fantasy league every week. Yeah. I put rules on myself to not look at the standings live and all this other crap.
That's the worst part, James, is I still care every week going into this stupid
thing.
I didn't care.
I don't want to care, and then I start to care.
Yeah.
Dang it. I don't even know what I'm going to do for the dirt race. It's going to be I don't even know what to do. So.
Any shout outs this week, James?
I'll do, well, we shout them out all the time, but it was notable. I'll do 2 quick ones. Okay. Barron Speedway got a follow from Dale Jr. on Instagram. That was cool.
That's awesome.
Yep. So we're 1 degree of separation away from Dale Jr.
Right.
So there you go. And then I saw my buddy Derek Winter. We've had him on the pod. He was at Martinsville. Nice. And I didn't know whether to feel bad for him or to be jealous.
Right.
So if Derek's listening, I'm still conflicted. Tell me.
Has he thawed out yet?
I don't know. He looked pretty cold in his Facebook pictures. So.
I got nothing. I was going to mention Barron too. So good on him for getting that follow. That's pretty awesome. It's cool to see his track continue to grow. I feel like we were there before everybody else. So thanks to James. Right. James found him. So
we were there. And if he's coming to Michigan this year, we'll have to meet up or something.
We'll have to. I almost had a trip to Grand Rapids. He
did invite us out to see the track in person.
Yeah.
So one of these days we might have to take him up on that.
Well, I'll tell you what. Maybe we need to hit a race at Berlin this year. Meet up with him. Go to a race at Berlin and check out the track beforehand.
Oh, and that's another thing we should mention too, Eric. Eric Jones is coming to our neck of the woods.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Coming to Birch Run.
Yep.
And that's literally what, Eric, a 40-minute drive for us?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. You've been to Birch Run. You went to Birch Run last year, didn't you?
Yes, I did. I'll be going later this month. They got the CRA tour making its first of, I think, 3 stops out there this year.
When is he coming to? I should probably have been more prepared for this.
Yeah, you should have been. You'd think that we were professionals. I would try to type it in, but by the time I type it in, you'll already have it.
Well, the dog's filibustering.
Yeah, the dog is. He was outside, and now he's been put inside next to me, and nobody's paying attention to him. So.
He's just not happy about it?
Yeah, he's not thrilled.
Oh, well, that happens. And my internet decided to be slow.
I was going to say, you froze up, and you just froze up with a smile on your face. It was unusual.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's like winning the lottery. Yeah.
Doesn't happen very often.
Yep, it's coming. It's coming up here.
Bad mic cable here, too. I keep bumping, and it makes noise.
No. Yeah, he is coming to the track on James.
Wow.
What is it?
I
don't know.
Guess I should have looked it up.
May 19th. Jeez, oh Pete.
There you go. So I think it's a week before the big
week before my
race.
Week before my marathon, my half marathon. So I don't know if I'll be there or not, but I'd like to go see Mr. Jones.
Yeah, it'd be fun to maybe set something up and do a little interview with him or something.
That's right.
It'd be cool.
We should definitely do that.
Reach out to his PR people.
Let's do it.
So we can get rejected. James, it's time for my favorite segment of the show. It's Jackass Corner. You got yourself a jackass this week?
I mean, I'm the jackass for this internet situation. Well, we talked about him a lot, so I'll just leave it at that. I won't name names, but we talked about him a lot in this episode. That guy. I
am gonna go with the same incident, and I am going to say my jackass of the week is Mr. Sam Mayer. And here's why. Here's why, James. I rewatched the video just to make sure. Sam Mayer, first of all, takes his helmet off when the other guy's still got his helmet on. Mistake number one.
Yeah, not good. Yep.
Mistake number two is old Ty Gibbs reaches up to undo his helmet, and Sam gives him a shove, and that is when it went down. And he got two swings. So if Sam would have kept his hands off him for a couple more seconds, he might have been helmet free and might have had a shot. So Sam Mayer is my jackass of the week.
I think Sam should have grabbed him by the front of that helmet.
He should have dragged him around. He can't fight back when he does that.
Sam has regrets.
Yeah.
Sam has regrets on the whole thing. Ty's not the only one who has regrets. Sam has regrets.
So
thank God for that fight. That fight added a good 20 minutes, 30 minutes to this episode.
Yeah, we're back to our normal length right now if we end. So it's
Jesus. I don't know how we do it.
Nice to be back to an hour.
Wrap it up. Let's go.
Let's do it. James, where can they find you on social media?
At James Cush on Twitter.
You can find me at TSuperspeedway on Twitter. You can find the podcast at facebook.com/thesuperspeedway. Our website is thesuperspeedway.com. You can find old episodes of the podcast, show notes, links to articles we discuss, past race coverage, all of that stuff can be found there. You can find the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Facebook. We're getting dirty this weekend. Bristol Motor Speedway, the Pinty's truck race on dirt, and the Food City dirt race for the Cup Series. Easter Sunday this weekend. Happy Easter to everybody. We'll be back next week to break it all down and get ready for Dega. Can't be more excited. Even if you hate the dirt thing, at least we got Talladega coming right afterwards. So we'll be back next week to break it all down. Until then, everybody, let's go racing.